episode 251. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is May the 10th, 2015, Mother's Day here in the U.S.
Yes.
And I have done pretty much nothing today, so it seems like a pretty good Mother's Day to me.
It's an awesome Mother's Day. I called my mother.
It's very nice of you. I can't call my mother. She is no longer in the land of the living.
Oh, that joke never gets old.
And so many people are going to think you're a terrible person now. So knitting, though, this is knitting, right?
Sure. What are you knitting on?
Oh, is it me? Okay.
You started it. Therefore, you have to continue.
I have a lot of random stuff on the needles this week. Although I will say, I was listening to a back episode of Knit More Girls. I say back episode, it was probably 3 episodes back. And Gigi was talking about Stash Dash.
Which is awesome.
It is awesome, and we'll talk more about that later. But how she was going to cast on a new thing every day in May.
She's doing baby hats in May, though.
Yeah,
right?
she is. Like one for every day.
That's pretty awesome.
But still, casting on a new thing every day, like that, just, it makes me...
I know that I have enough needles for that.
Oh, please. Who are you kidding?
I love how I pretended that I didn't have enough needles for that.
Maybe not 30 of the same size, but... Okay.
And with the interchangeables, I could totally do it.
You totally could.
I'm not going to, though. I almost just thought in my head, maybe I wouldn't have enough project bags to store all those
That
things.
is a falsehood.
That's not true either. Oh.
So I have lots of stuff on the needles.
Yep.
The first is living in one of my Seashore Sharon bags. And it is 2 different types of hand spun.
Ooh,
This here was spun by Jessica. Show Me Your Knits. It's the Inara colorway of Into the World. That's a Firefly reference. I do not remember the colorway name on this. Is one that I spun. They're both 3-ply hand spuns. Jessica spun this one. I spun this one.
So Jessica might like the cashmere nylon superwash merino line from Into the World. So I'm guessing that's what that
I think this one is just a nylon blend. I don't think it has merino. I left the tag upstairs when I wound it, so I don't remember. I don't think this one has any cashmere in it. I know mine doesn't. I think mine was...
It's like a superwash merino.
I think so. I'll have to look and see. But I took this with me to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and instead of grabbing a size 1, I grabbed a size 2. And so I cast on my normal number of stitches, and it was huge, so I had to rip it out. But I recast it on with, I think, 56 stitches, because I'm still using a size 2, because the density of the fabric I like, but I just had too many stitches. So I'm just doing a simple 5-stitch or 5-row stripe.
Are you carrying the yarn up as you go?
I am, because I would not want to weave in 1,000 ends.
That's crazy pants.
So in the on the 3rd row of one color, I'll loop the other color around the yarn. So I haven't knit a lot on it, but it's I wanted to knit with some hand spun. I only have 1 pair of hand spun hand knit socks, and the yarn was made by Laura, who hand spun for me, and I knitted them. I also have 2 more pairs of socks on the needles because I am crazy this week. The first
I love it.
is the second of the barter. Miss Marker's quilts. Her name is Margaret. Yeah. She and I barter, and she will quilt my quilt tops on a machine for me, and I knit her a pair of socks. And it seems like a pretty fair exchange to me.
So this is for the school's quilt.
This one, the socks that I just cast on will be for her to quilt the spool's quilt. That's correct. Which I still haven't made the back to. I know what I want to do. It involves a little bit of math, and I have to figure that out. Okay. So I cast on, I don't know if it's Loosh or Loesch, but it's a Hunter Hammerson pattern. And it's very simple, twisted stitches. It's a little more effort than I tend to put into patterns for myself, but Margaret said that I should just pick something. So I didn't want to be lazy and just go with plain stockinette. So these have a fun amount of detail and interest, and they'll be stretchy as well. So I'm using, this is living in my Jessalou Firefly bag. And I'm using Apothecary yarns. I don't know whether they're still dyeing or not. I checked out their shop. There's nothing in it right now, which isn't uncommon, but I'm not sure if they're still dyeing. That is Apothecary yarns. And this is the Off the Deep End colorway in the MCN sock blend, Merino Cashmere Nylon. It's this beautiful blue.
Ooh, pretty.
And I think I got this at SSK last year, the year before.
No, they were in our market
last year. Okay.
It's all blurring together.
I know it is. My dog is outside barking. It's driving me crazy, and Michael knows that it drives me crazy. Still, he lets them out when I record. It makes me crazy. So anyway, it does. It makes me crazy. All right, so I just started. This is one episode of Game of Thrones worth of me knitting, which is about 9 rows, including the cast on. So it's not a whole lot. I just got started on it today. The biggest deterrent to me starting on a new project isn't the hours that I spend searching. It's the energy I spend having to go find the yarn and wind it.
You are ridiculous.
I am ridiculous.
See, this is a perk of me not having my stash in Ravelry, because when I need to find something, I just tear apart the stash.
Oh. See, then I would lose hours, re-finding things I had forgotten about.
Okay, I like it. Like a surprise.
It is. It's fun. And I do that sometimes. When I go through the drawers looking for a specific thing, I'm like, oh, this isn't in my stash on Ravelry. I need to do that. And so then I move it to the other room where my not photographed yet stuff is. And then I'm like, oh, look at this. This is so pretty. And then I lose time. So the third pair of socks is when we were at Maryland last weekend, we visited our friend Sarah and her husband Derek at the Knitting in Color and Subterranean Woodworks booth. And this is a sock blank. It's the blue-black sock blank. It's got sparkles in it. And
she was telling us, Gail actually brought it up, how with the sparkle sock blanks, and I'm not certain this is all sparkle yarn or just sock blanks, that they have to use vinegar
instead of citric acid, right?
Citric acid, because the citric acid gets rid of the glitter.
Like it dissolves the metal, yeah. Or
something.
Yeah.
Something happens where you can't see the metal.
So that's really cool.
That was interesting.
So this is what it looks like, kind of like a galaxy-ish. And I'm digging it. And this is a sock blank. So basically it's a machine knit strip with about 400 yards, and then the dyer just dyes it straight like this.
Yeah, it's an easy way of doing stripes.
Mm-hmm. And you unwound it and you pull right off the blank and knit straight. You can rewind it and soak it.
I can't.
To me,
what that thread looks like.
Yeah, it is, because it's been knitted. It's curly. So.
It's like knitting with freaking elastic.
But see, the way that I tension my yarn, and this is a problem when I'm using something with lots of plies like Volmiza, is because I put a lot of instead of it being like this and I'm knitting like this, it's tensioned out when I'm knitting.
See, I don't. This is how I knit.
No, see, it goes around my finger and it's tensioned out when I'm knitting. So the part that I'm knitting with is straight. And maybe that's a characteristic of people who knit tighter versus looser. I don't know.
I think that has to do with more of how the stitches, how close they are actually on your needles. Let me see your stitches on your needles. Show me your stitches. So, right on the tip, when you knit, right on the tip, you keep them close together. You don't.
Yes, I keep them close together.
So that's what really changes your gauge. If you see how mine are kind of, I knit kind of far apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes me a loose knitter. So they're that spaced apart when I knit.
Oh yeah, no, mine are usually bunched together.
I'm sure the tensioning has something to do with it more too, but it's that strand that goes between. See how that
there's space between the two, yeah.
That makes it looser. Anyway, the more you know.
Yeah. So I wanted to knit one of Laura Neal's patterns. Since I'm knitting Hunter Hammerson, I figured I might as well knit another heavyweight.
All the super smart people.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'm knitting the bootstrap socks. It's really hard to see that with the black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right there. So I cast on, and it was only black for like 5 inches, which was kind of disheartening. But then I finally,
Glitter, though.
yeah, I finally got to the color.
Are those going to be like your Star Trek socks? Because they kind of remind me of Star
I
Trek.
don't know. We'll see. They definitely won't match. There's pretty much no way I can make them match, which is fine. I go into it knowing that. You do have to sort of trust her when you're reading the pattern, because you're like, is that right? But of course it's right.
Laura Neal.
Yeah, so you do the flap is done in a weird way, and then you Kitchener it together at the bottom.
Yeah, that's how I did Matt Gusler's socks.
Yeah.
And he said they're like the most comfortably fitting socks that he has ever worn. So that was the Dream in Color Everlasting
Oh,
socks.
yeah, I remember.
Brother-in-law. Yeah. Who's Matt Gusler, because my brother's name's Matt, so.
The tattooed, pierced, big, burly, bearded one. That's the brother-in-law.
I wonder if we could abbreviate that in some way.
So this is what it looks like now. I picked up the stitches for the foot, and now it's just plain knitting in the round.
Cool.
And the last thing that I have on the needles, because yes, there is still more.
I love it.
Is
I'm glad you're carrying the show this week.
I even actually have some spinning. I'll talk about that later.
Oh, cool.
It's living in my Bags by Awesome Granny bag, which is huge, like twice as big as my head.
Is that her large?
Yes. And then she included her like notions pouch as well.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I like the little rings that she puts on there. So while we were at Maryland, we stayed with a friend, and one of it was like a big slumber party. There's like 6 or 7 of us girls. And can we still be called girls? Because I think the youngest of us is you, and you're 34.
I'm the youngest?
I think so.
That's awesome. That makes me feel superb.
Well, I don't know, because Jess was a child bride, so maybe she's the youngest of us.
No,
we'll see.
she's not.
Anyway, while we were there, Lynn, who is Lynn Zim, and she works at the Loop U in Colorado, she and a bunch of the ladies there got certified to measure for Amy Herzog's custom fit.
Yeah, so she wanted to practice.
Yeah.
So we fully endorse
Yeah,
that.
we're like, yes, please measure my inter-nipple distance. I've always wanted someone to do that. So,
yeah, she made us do that ourselves.
So she took all the measurements for us, and I plugged everything into Custom Fit, which is a website by Amy Herzog. Her and her husband, I think, made this. They're both really brilliant, math-wise and like engineering-wise. So they created this site, and basically you plug in your information about the swatch, how many stitches per inch, as well as all of your measurements.
Because like if right now she's running a deal, if you sign up and buy one pattern, you get one pattern free. But I have to put in my swatch before I can buy a pattern. So I need to,
yeah, you do have to do
so
that.
I can get a free one.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So
there's different levels with that.
Yeah,
like,
there
you can
is.
do a second level, which is like 7 patterns over the course of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's the highest level, which is like unlimited, which is like Biscuit Girl level.
Yeah.
Or the Amy and Zara and Froggy Monkey
yeah.
level of knitting sweaters.
So the good thing about Custom Fit is she's got a catalog of like 3 dozen, maybe more patterns that are already fleshed out. They already are full patterns, and you can plug in your numbers and get it perfectly sized for you, or you can basically create your own. You can decide the hem length, the arm length, what type of neck it is, what type of collar, what edging you want to put on it. Do you want to have a lace pattern? All this cool stuff. So I decided I was just going to do a pullover with a V-neck at elbow length, and I was going to
be your Rhinebeck sweater.
I don't know. I want to knit a lot of custom fit sweaters, but I wanted to test it first to see how it works for me. And having someone else do the measurements was super helpful, because I came home and compared it against the measurements I had taken of myself. Major differences.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the like waist and hip, because it's hard to keep to be able to do that on yourself. Yeah. So I've only just started. I'm knitting it out of William Morris, which is a colorway by Madeline Tosh, and it's in her sport weight. It looks like this. It was what I knit the Ho Aloha out of ages back, and then I ripped it out because it just did not work for me. So I am knitting. So she tells you, she endorses you knitting flat and then seaming. And I've been talking for 15 minutes, so let me try and speed this up a little bit.
No, you're fine.
She
I've been enjoying drinking my water and listening to you speak.
She writes out the pattern only for you, so you don't have to figure out where your number is in the column of numbers or whatever, which is great.
I love it.
And she writes it for knitting in pieces, but then at the back she gives you, if you want to knit it seamlessly, you can do this, which was what I initially did. And then I thought, I'm going to follow her directions and just do it exactly how she says to do it first.
Yeah.
And then I'll modify on the next one if I want to. So I pulled it out and cast on for just the back. So I finished the decreases for the hip, and I'm about to start the increases for the bust. And
It looks like it's got a garter hem, is that correct?
it does have a garter hem.
Are you alternating skeins?
I am alternating skeins, yes. You can sort of see that. It's kind of striping to some effect, which is fine. As long as it does that consistently, then I don't care. And I really like knitting with the yarn. I did not want to have to do purling flat, but I tend to purl backwards anyway, or knit backwards, I guess. So it's not a big deal. That's the only way I can get gauge anyway. And that's how I knitted the swatch as well. So that was another reason that I decided I'm going to knit this one flat and just make sure that it works. So just started on it. Maybe next week I'll have the back done. We'll see. But it's going to be...
Do you have a goal for it to be finished by a certain date? Or?
By the end of Stash Dash, because I want to count all the yardage. Ideally, it'll be done before SSK, because I'd like to have it in the try-it-on room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, but no, aside from that, those are the only things I've been knitting on, those 4 giant different projects.
I love it.
So what about you?
So as I was sitting here doing show notes, waiting for Leslie to get on, I worked a little bit on the 2-color beanie by Click Heaton Australian Superfine Merino. It is, let me set this down for a second. I have like 5 more stitches to go, so that'll happen at some point. So it's a 2-color beanie, and I was trying it on, so, it's gonna be all crazy like, because I'm totally keeping my headphones on too. So with it down, it's got a good bit of
Slouch, yeah.
slouch to it, and then rolled up.
You look like a South Park character right now.
That's awesome. It does go over the ears when I'm not wearing the headphones. Actually, it goes over. I look like I should be hanging out with my children's. So I just am about to start the decreases. So it's finally the decreases. I have this much left.
Oh, cool.
And then I'll get me through the decreases.
Yeah.
And then I have gray to make a big giant pom-pom at the top. So that is finally, the end is in sight. I can't decide if I want to finish it before Stash Dash or wait till Stash Dash to finish that one.
I'll say wait.
Yeah, we'll see. That's like something that definitely does not have a time limit on it, and I have other things that have a time limit on them, so that'll happen. The second thing, I'm done with the bodies of the Inspiration Dye Works socks, and I knit these on size 1.25 needles, or 2.25 needles, excuse me. I didn't put that in the show notes. I'll catch that maybe later. And so I've got both done. I like that the fact that they have the little...
Yeah.
Always do that. Always. So close.
But they match.
Yeah, well, because I always do it. Terrible judge. So those are completely done. I am going to snip them and put in True Afterthought heels, because I was working on these at various places and didn't feel like figuring out where to put heels. So I will do that after Stash Dash starts.
Is that for? Are they for you?
Yeah, they're for me. So there's no hurry on those either. My sock drawer is looking a little bit sad lately, so I need to kind of knit some stuff for me. Because I haven't been knitting a ton of socks for me. A lot of them have been going to other people, which is fine. I love it, but I'm getting to that, they're getting a little worn, and I have like very little red in my sock drawer. Actually, I only have 1 pair of socks that are red, that have any red in them.
Wow.
So, and Jess knit those for me, so I need to fix that. That might be a goal for Stash Dash. Other things, let's see. Oh, So the Alice Elizabeth shawlette, which is a pattern by me, and I'm resizing it to make it larger because I want to offer multiple sizes. The rights revert back to me on the 15th, and I want to add another size. This was a Loopy U Giftables pattern. And so I'm knitting the larger size. It was originally done in a Mrs. Crosby's hat box, I think.
Yeah.
And it was one skein, which was a little over 300 yards of sport weight. And so I upped it to DK weight, and I added a lot more stitches. So it's a lot larger. And when it blocks, it'll be much, much larger. I am on the edging, and this is going to be a sample for the class I teach at the Loopy U, which is shawls with attached edgings. I'm actually teaching that same class at Vicksburg using a different shawl. I thought since it's at the Loopy U and I designed this one for the Loopy U, I'd like to make work for myself, and I would do this one at the Loopy U.
That makes sense.
So the other one that I'm teaching is Whiz Popper.
I like Whiz Popper a lot.
It's the same techniques. It's the same attached edging, but I'll have more and more samples as I continue knitting, so that's cool. I like shawls with attached edgings. Piper's Journey is wonderful. There's a ton that I've knit over the years that I really like and designed. So teaching that at the Loopy U and at Vicksburg, and I have this much left to go, and I had to get to a certain number, and I actually went past that number, and so then I had to add more repeats because I didn't feel like ripping out because I was just, making it for me. So I only have this much yarn left to do the rest of the edging, which I don't think is going to be enough. I think I'm going to run like 5 yards short. So this is how awesome the folks at the Loopy U are, and Lynn and Rebecca in particular. I asked Lynn if they were getting more of this yarn in, and this is Fiber Story Core DK in the Jammies colorway, and they were out, and I was like, when do y'all think you're gonna get a shipment back in? And she said, well, actually I think one's coming in soon, and one actually arrived this week. How serendipitous is that?
That's pretty awesome.
And they haven't even put it on the website yet, but Rebecca, like their inventory manager, looked in the back and she's like, oh man, it's the same yarn, but this batch is a little bit darker. And it's noticeably darker, and I don't think that would work for Laura's shawl edging. So Lynn has a skein of this in her stash, so she shipped me the skein that's in her stash and took one of the new ones. How sweet is that? Those people at the Loopy U, they're awesome.
They are pretty great.
So they are pretty fabulous people. That is living in my Tangerine Designs bag, my Lorax bag. He speaks for the trees. It was Earth Day. So, and that's being knit on size 6 needles, 4.00 millimeters.
Yep.
My sound just got crazy. Oh, because I unplugged my headphones. Awesome.
Can't take you anywhere.
Really can't. So that will be done this week, and then blocked, and then I'll ship it off next week to the Loopy U for them to use as a sample for the class. So I'm excited. I wanted a bigger version of this. I'm very tempted to make this the medium and then do an even bigger one, like out of fingering weight, like 800 yards of fingering weight.
Out of fingering weight?
Yes. Yeah, I'm getting into like crazy pants land. Because this only took I think they're 230 yards. So like 500 yards would do this one of a DK.
But that's a DK, right? So you want a bigger shawl, but you want it out of a skinnier yarn.
That's okay.
That's just crazy pants.
Oh, it's fine. It's a good thing Stash Dash is coming up. Other things on the needles. What have I not talked about? Oh, Julia's birthday sweater, that thing that I was just knitting on. So Julia Grace is turning 6. And that is my niece, for those of you who did not know that. And every year for her birthday, she picks out a sweater. And usually I knit it for Camp Loopy. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to her late. But this year, like, I'm kind of ahead of the ball game. So, I have a book to show next week that I got for her too. So I am using Cascade 220 Superwash, and I did a nice big swatch. And this pink is going to be the main color, and then this green is going to be contrast 1, and actually the purple doesn't really touch the pink, so it really should be folded. So you can see it a little bit better. I don't know why I put pink in the middle, because I felt like it. But the purple and pink will be, or the purple and green will be side by side. And she told me I gave her the option of like 6 sweaters, and this is the one she chose, and she told me it had to be pink and purple. So the green's a little bit of extra color, because you need 3 colors. For the hero, you knit the hero sweater, right?
I did. And then I turned it into a zip-up cardigan.
Oh, this one is knit flat, and I've never done Fair Isle flat before. Yeah, I promise you. You want to see the picture?
It's the Hero by Julia Farwell Clay?
Yeah, it's Hero Petite.
Why is it knit flat? Is it a regular is it a regular sweater pullover?
No. So, it looks like, let me make it big. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, why wouldn't you just steek it?
I don't know. I don't do steeks. Well, I shouldn't say I don't do steeks. I've never steeked, and it doesn't call for it to be steeked, so I'm just following the pattern.
Alrighty.
It does call for you to use size 8 needles, and with my big giant gauge swatch, I had to go down to 6s to get the same gauge. So, whatever. Whatever.
Loose, Laura, is loose.
That's the word on the screen. So, it is right now. I even did the seed stitch. I'm a rule follower. So, this thing is really warm. Oh, that's really warm. My power.
Are you burying things in yarn? They'll get warm then.
Might be. No, my computer is very hot, but it's also 90 degrees outside, so, you know. So it's around 6 inches. It is an A-line cardigan, which I did not read. So if you do the girl version, it's A-line. So you actually, I'm doing the 8-year-old size, so it's like 28 inches around, because I want her to be able to wear it in the fall.
Yeah.
Winter. It is wool. And I'd rather it be too big and she have to grow into it than too small. And there's no 7-year-old size. There's just 8. And I feel like something's going to catch fire at any moment. Good thing wool is not flammable. So size 8. So I have no idea where I was going with that.
2, 4, 6, 8. There's no size 7.
There's no size 7, and it starts as an A-line. So it actually is like 32 inches. And then it goes down to 28 through decreases, which is a lot of seed stitch. It's like 142 stitches of seed stitch for 8 rows at the beginning, which I don't know why I dislike seed stitch, but I like ribbing. What's up with that?
Makes no sense
to me.
Same
thing. But, you know, whatever. So I'm going to go to 12 inches with this. I'm kind of running out of yarn, though, which concerns me. So this is like the first 5 inches, I think. Let me measure it real fast. I'm very ill prepared for podcasting today.
We let you go out of practice for 1 week.
I know. Okay, I'm a total liar. It is 7 inches. It doesn't look like 7 inches. That's a very short. Hold on now. That seems, I guess because it's rolling up on me. That is a very short 7 inches. I feel like my tape measure just freaking lied. Now I'm doing it again.
I've got all these alternate jokes in my head for the commentary that you're having, and it's just a bad deal.
Huh. Also, my battery light came on for my computer. That might be why it's so hot, because it was running off a battery and wasn't plugged in. It is 7 inches. Okay, that makes me feel better. Because I only have, this much left of the first skein. And I cast this on yesterday. Now, granted, I did do this giant swatch out of the skein too, but I was getting a little bit worried that I feel like 11 inches is not going to be long enough. Whatever. So I was getting a little bit worried. And all this is living in this giant Bags by Awesome Granny bag. Because it all fits. Look, there's another skein of yarn in here. Big as my head almost. And it fits. And then soon there'll be like 5 skeins in there. So I figured out the math. And in order to get it done, because you know how I am. So in order to get it done for Julia's birthday, I have to knit 86 and 1/2 yards per day. So it'll happen. I'm almost through the first.
a ball every 3 days.
I'm almost through the first ball now, so that works out. Although I've been home washing wool, so
Yeah.
there'll have to be some hardcore knitting time carved out this week. Although I did chaperone a dance last night, and I didn't knit during that a whole lot. Anyway, that's it for me. Here, Petite by Julia Farewell Clay. I'm excited. It's Cascade 220 Superwash, which I actually got on sale from Webs, which they have on sale this month. Which I'm not certain it was after you add in shipping. I'm not certain that that's so much of a deal versus sites that offer free shipping. But you know, whatever. Because shipping on like 5 balls of yarn was $10. And it was, well, like it is, because it was like $8.99 or $8 a ball versus 11, I think, is what Cascade 220 Superwash is up to now. I don't know. It all works out in the end. It'll be fine. And I had the 3 skeins of the pink in the stash.
That's cool.
From when Hank went out of business. So that's it for me in knitting. Have you finished anything?
I did finish the Big O colorway socks, which was a colorway by Gail's Art. I think I have the leftovers up here, yeah. I do not have the socks because I've already sent them off to the intended recipient.
Oh, cool.
And she got them, and everything fits great, and that's wonderful. So that's the only FO I have for this week, and I don't actually have it. It's gone, so.
I don't have any FOs. Shocker. And now I won't, because I'm going for 10K for Stash Dash, so I'm hoarding everything.
Yeah, you're not going to see any FOs until the last week of June, or May, if any.
No, last week of May I'll have a bunch. Because Jessica and I figured out how much we need to knit a week to make it happen. Anyway. We are skipping several segments this week. We are skipping because obviously we're chatty Cathy's. We're already at 30 minutes. And, we haven't done anything but stuff on the needles and FOs. So we are skipping books we are reading. We'll tell you about that next week. Mm-hmm. We are skipping a book review. We will be reviewing Madame Defarge Does Shakespeare.
Next week. And
we are skipping the question segment. We'll return to that next week as well. But you spinning.
I'm spinning. Look how much spinning I have. Isn't it overwhelming?
So cute.
So the first stop that we had at Maryland Sheep and Wool, Laura and I, when I say we, was Marigold Jen and Hobbledehoy, who share a booth.
Because they were giving goodie bags, and we were all about those goodie bags.
I just go where I'm told, honestly. I went with the intention to buy nothing, except maybe a fleece, and that willpower did not last. But anyway, Hobbledehoy, who actually knew who we were, which was nice.
She's a sweetheart. Her mom's a sweetheart, too.
Her mom is too good at naming colors. She is too good. It is very dangerous to my wallet. But anyway, she was giving away little goodie bags for the first 50 customers, and we were one of the first customers. And so she gave away these little batlings. I have several more. This is just the one that I'm working on. And when we kept going back to Knitty and Colors booth several times, because
they're awesome.
Yeah, because they're good people. We like talking to them. Sarah and Derek, and this one little spindle, every time I went, I was like, man, I hope somebody buys that because it's so cute, and I don't need it because I don't spindle very much. And
I have similar.
Yes, and we went back the last day at like 2 o'clock, and I was like, fine, it's still here, it's coming home with me.
Because he had held back some stock for the Sunday people, which was really sweet.
It was. So this is what it looks like. It's a little turtle. That's what it's called when you, I guess, that's what some people call it, as you wind the yarn on.
It's a Turkish spindle,
It is a Turkish spindle, yes. I'm trying to make it focus, but it doesn't want to do it. There we go.
There you go.
So this
creates a center pull ball.
Yes. And of drop spindling, I guess Turkish is considered drop spindling.
This can be used dropped or supported, I think.
This is my favorite way to drop spindle. It's more intuitive to me than a top whirl spindle. So anyway, that's all the spinning that I got. Lori and I both have been washing fleece.
Yeah. I finished my Cordell from last year at Maryland Sheep and Wool that we purchased. And then I was going through and I have a lot of fleece that I need to wash.
That's the only thing that I feel like I need to get done immediately is washing. The rest of the stuff I can deal with, it can wait. But I feel like washing I have to get done immediately. Which is strange because my house, freaking disaster. But that wool needs to be clean.
Well, I can bring in stuff like insects too. That's why all mine lives out in the garage until it gets washed. So I still have the giant Romney, the 10-pound Romney to wash that I bought at SSK.
Yeah, Ross Farm.
Ross Farms last year. I have a long wool, not Coopworth, but it begins with a C.
Cheviot, Cordell.
No. Cordell's more fun. Anyway. I have another fleece that I bought at Fiber in the Borough to wash that's got long locks that are really pretty. It's almost a Lincoln, but it's not. I have a CVM to wash. I have a BFL, the Coopworth, and a
Cordell Merino Cross.
Cordell Cross. And that's it. That's still a lot of fleece to wash.
Yeah, Laura and I bought 3 fleeces at Maryland, and we split them. Yeah. So it's not terrible. And I got, here, I'm trying to pull up my picture so you guys can see.
My phone might be dead.
I built these, a very do-it-yourself drying rack because I just don't have enough drying space. So I basically got PVC pipe and couplers and some plastic screening, like to keep bugs out.
Yeah.
And stretched it on a frame. And washed the 3.5, almost 4 pounds of the Cordell Merino Cross last night and today, and laid it out to dry. So it's out on my deck right now drying.
Cotswold. That's what it
Cotswold. That was the Estes wool a couple years ago.
Oh, cool.
I need to see what it is this year since we're going to Estes. Maybe we should enter something.
Oh, I know. Hold on. I'll think. Keep going.
So anyway, I washed that wool, and then I washed a Cormo from Rhinebeck last year that I had already picked and everything, but it was still a little greasy and it was bugging me. I knew I wouldn't want to spin it that way. So I took it in its already picked form and just gently washed it so that I'll be able to card it through and create it into bats soon. So you'll probably see a lot of natural colored fleece stuff happening this summer between Laura and I.
Yeah.
So, but it makes me happy. I enjoy processing the fleece.
Good.
So
I think I'm going to change my owl. I haven't proposed yet. I was going to do charms, which is spinning lace weight. And then knitting lace weight was one that I was going to do. And I think I'm going to do one of the spinning ones where it's like a 1-ply, a single, a 2-ply, a 3-ply.
Oh, like a sampler.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But it's like 4 ounces.
Right. Significant amount, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think that's what I'm going to do instead. Anyway.
So that's it for spinning and fiber-related stuff.
Yeah. And Ross Farm, someone had asked us a question on the thread. I'm totally going back to it. And she wanted to know about fleece for Maryland, and we totally missed that question. But Ross Farm does sell raw fleece in like 4-ounce bags or 8-ounce bags, I think. So
they also sell processed fleece in those same increments, so you don't have to get it raw. But
no, but
you can get smaller amounts.
Dip in a little bit,
right, to see if you enjoy it or not.
So Ross Farm might be someone that you might want to contact. No, I can't find the question, but whatever. It'll come up again. I went through and favorited all the questions we hadn't answered yet.
So you released a new pattern this week.
I did. I released the Afterthought Heels Revisited, finally. I released it before we went to Maryland. So that is a heel pattern. It's basically my Afterthought Heels pattern, which was originally written top down. And this is the toe-up version, and one of the options you have is to add little bits of short rows. So see how that green goes from like 4 up to like
for a slightly like roomier heel.
Yeah, so it gives you a little bit more room, and one of the stretch points on Afterthought heel socks is right here where it joins. You'll get stretch stitches, and that kind of alleviates that problem. So if that's an issue you're having, this might be a way to solve it. There are other ways to solve it too, but that's one way. So it's a free pattern. It's on Ravelry. If it's something that interests you, go ahead and check it out. So that's the first of my favorite things. The second is we have a Three Waters Farm spin along, knit along coming up.
Right.
It could be a crochet along too, I suppose.
Yeah, a craft along.
Yeah.
So we talked about Three Waters Farm. They're a little company, and they sell predominantly fiber, but they also sell yarn at festivals and things. And Marianne at Three Waters Farm is the one who sponsored our SSK scholarship for this year. Yeah. So we decided we were going to also team up to do a spin along / knit along.
It's been a long time since we did a spin along, a couple of years.
It has, yeah.
More than time to do one again.
Yeah, and this can also count towards your Stash Dash or toward a fleece for the summer if you want to do that. Any of that stuff. You can double dipple. Double dipple is now the title for this week's show. You can double dip, triple dip, whatever. We don't care. But basically, so here's the information. But first, I'm going to put in the pictures here by Magic.
Magic! I love Magic. Magic's best.
So the colorway is called Honky Tonk, and it's going to be available in both sort of a variegated and a gradient, although it's not a true gradient because the colors don't go from one end of the spectrum to the other in a true like color theory manner. They do slowly blend into each other, but if you're really strict on the spectrum of colors, then
it doesn't go from like a light to a dark.
Right. So the colors do fade into each other, but not in a strict sense of color theory. So there's going to be, for fiber, there will be BFL or Polworth silk. Those are your two options. And you can get either the variegated or the gradient on either one of those. And she's also going to offer yarn, which will be available in a superwash merino blend or in a superwash merino and nylon blend.
That's fingering weight yarns.
Fingering weight yarns. The prices and all that are going to go up in the thread that we're going to open this week to start talking about that stuff. And everything is going to be pre-orders. That way Marianne gets exactly what she needs and nobody gets disappointed. She's going to open pre-orders tomorrow, which will be May the 11th. And you have until the end of May for the fiber. So May 31st to order the fiber. And the fiber orders will be shipped the first week of June. And then for the yarn, you have a little bit longer because if you're going to participate in the spin along, knit along, it takes longer to spin it than it would if you got the finished yarn. So if you're going to spin it and then knit it, you need a little bit of extra time. So the pre-orders for the yarn will be from tomorrow, May 11th, until the 15th of June, with all the yarn orders going out by the first week of July. We're going to also have contests with this.
Yep.
We'll outline the details for that in a couple of weeks, but basically you will be eligible to win cool prizes both from Marianne and from us.
Like we said, you can double dip with Stash Dash as well.
Yeah. So we're really excited about doing this. Laura and I have been wanting to do another spin along with the group for a while because it's so cool how you can get,
so many different things.
Yes, from the same base product, you can get so many things.
Yep.
So
and it's very inspiring.
It is.
And it's hard for us to find an indie dyer that's willing to do the numbers that we need to do, but Marianne is more than generous.
Yeah, and to be flexible. So we're really excited about that. The links to purchase the pre-orders we'll also put in the episode thread and the spin along knit along chatter thread, which will open this week. So all that information, look for it on Ravelry starting tomorrow, May the 11th.
Okay,
so part of that is Stash Dash.
Yes.
And Laura is the Stash Dash Empress.
I am.
Bow down.
I will beat you with my scepter.
Just ask Jess. Jess was complaining earlier
Jess needs
because
to follow the rules.
She was complaining earlier because she just realized that if you hold yarn double, you don't get to count.
That's true.
It double. So if you knit 400 yards doubled,
because you're only knitting 200 yards, really.
Right. So
not. You are using 400 yards, but you're only knitting.
You're only going through the knitting effort of 200 yards.
Yes.
So anyway,
So
Stash Dash Empress now wishes to speak.
So Stash Dash, this is our 4th annual Stash Dash, and we are constantly evolving it because we're crazy pants. But we like to make it a little bit different and better, we think, every year. And we always see what works and what doesn't work. And so basically what Stash Dash is Stash Dash is a virtual race to use up stash and or finish some works in progress. Crafts included in Stash Dash include knitting, spinning, crochet, tatting, and weaving. You can use any of those. This year we're going to have not only the 5K option that we've had in years past, but we're also adding a 3K and a 10K level. There's a chatter thread already up on Ravelry. That's a great place to keep track. If you want to put one post just for your own, I need to keep up with this someplace, and I don't want to put it in a FO thread yet. That's a great place to put stuff up. It's also a great place to say, oh, I really like this you're doing.
Right.
If you are more goal-oriented, like Jessica and I, and you've already decided on your goal level, Jess
and how many they have to knit every day, and
Jess and I are going for the 10K level, and that is around 1,000 meters of yarn a week. Because we're crazy pants. We can post in that thread, but we're asking that you don't say, oh, I want to do 3K. Oh, I already hit 3K. Now I'm going to delete that post and move to 5K. We ask that you choose one. So once you choose your level, you're stuck at that level. So
let me be devil's advocate here
okay.
and say, I'm Sally Knitter.
Okay.
And I've created a post, and I don't know what my goal is yet. Can I not claim something and then wait until it's done?
Yeah, so that's what the chatter thread's for. You can post.
Oh, okay. But you're saying don't go and post in the 3,000 finished one and then change it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay. Does that make
yes, unless you're finished and you're done and you're completing your finished post, don't put it in a finished thread.
Unless you know that you are going to reach a certain like you have a goal. Because some people use Stash Dash for different things.
Yeah.
Like Jess and I use it as a motivational technique.
As a way to compete with each other.
Yes. And anyway, and Lynn's going for 20K. She just doesn't know yet. But
oh, gosh. Wow.
I'm gonna have to create a 20K level just for Lynn.
Just for Lynn.
Lynn's FO level. That'd be craziness. So if you're a goal-oriented person and you're like, I'm trying to hit 10K, even if you don't reach it, you can still start at the beginning and start posting.
Yeah.
Because some people, like Jess posts all her, you get one post and then you go and edit it and add more stuff. So she updates her post every Sunday morning.
That makes sense.
Habit. I'm trying to think other important things. You post once in your chosen level, and then you edit that post to add more projects. I'll have a sample so you can see before we start. I think that instead of an FO thread, it should be like a finishing line thread.
Yeah, that sounds good. What are the dates?
Yes, that's important. Stash Dash begins at 12:01 a.m. on May 22nd and runs through 11:59 p.m. Central Time on August 14th. I probably won't lock it because I'll be at work the next day, so I'll probably get up the next morning and lock it before I go to work. So you have a little bit of extra time.
That's months away. Who cares?
Who needs sleep? Me. This is how bad things happen. Frequently asked questions. Can we count things towards Stash Dash that we finished before May 22nd? No.
There has to be some. And we don't just mean you can block it after May 22nd. There has to be some knitting being done. It could be a bind off.
Or weaving. Yeah, it can be the bind off, but it's got to be a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Not just weaving and ends and blocking it. We're not doing a block away on this one. Do we use yards or meters? It's meters. That's what the K stands for.
You can use yards. You just have to convert it to meters at the end.
I have a ton of blanket squares that just need to be seamed. Can I count them now? But if you decide to crochet them together and crochet around the outside or crochet them together, then that would work because you're crocheting.
But you would only be able to count the crocheted.
No, you count the whole thing if you add to it. So if you decide you have these blanket squares and you crochet them together and then you crochet a border around the outside, it counts the whole yardage.
So I guess I'm confused as to why you said you couldn't count blanket squares.
No, you can count blanket squares, but not if you're just seaming them together. But if you're like crocheting and adding a border, then they all count.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sort of. Yeah, it's kind of a blurry line, but I see where you're going.
I'm all about the
When in doubt, ask the Stash Dash Empress.
What else? Oh, if you decide that you want to do like single blanket squares and not seam them together, you can count the individual yardage, just not ones that you've done before. And same with hexapuffs and other small things. Things have to be complete for you to count them, but the exception to that is things that come in pairs. If you finish one sock and not another, you can count the one sock. Does that make sense?
Or we make such fun arbitrary rules. I love
it. I love it. It's awesome. Because you might be knitting the sock for a person who has only got one foot, like Jess's Mike.
That is possible, yes.
That would be a finished thing.
She's going to smack the crap out of you next time she sees you, by the way. I'm just letting you know that.
I can't run fast. I don't know who that I am the Empress. I will beat you with my... Like me on a power trip is awesome. When does yarn become stash? When it enters your house?
Yes, whenever you acquire it.
Yep. What happens if you don't finish an object? You have to finish it to count. Can you double dip? Of course you can. With spinning, you use the finished yardage. So the finished, if it's plied, the plied yardage. If it's a single, that you're leaving as a single.
So this is where I didn't realize, because Laura is the Empress and I didn't know, but if you spin a 3-ply 400-yard scheme, you only count 400 yards. This is not like Spinzilla where you count every ply and the plied yardage. So
I could finish Stash Dash in a week if that was the case.
Where's the bad in that?
No, it's an ongoing motivational technique.
Okay. I'm
a motivational speaker and I live in a van down by the river.
Yes. Fat guy in a little coat.
If you use yarn held doubled, you count just the
single strand
yardage. I'm sure I'm missing more. Just let me know. Also, I love people who put funny, hilarious pictures as their
holder, placeholder.
It makes me laugh so hard. Like Cherry makes use of Mr. Bean. This is my excited face. It makes me so happy. You can use the hashtag Stash Dash 2015 to tag all your posts all over the place. And I might, when the chatter thread gets up to 200, I might pull some random numbers for pattern prizes, just FYI. Well, there's an upside down cow. Anyway, so that's about it for Stash Dash. If you have any questions, just let me know. Leslie will defer to me because I'm the Empress.
That is the fact.
I totally do need
It's funny because whenever any of my friends text me and say, hey, can we do this in Stash Dash? I'm like, I don't know. I don't make the Stash Dash rules. Like, I could make a ruling, but I could be overturned, so I just don't.
That's true.
But we do have a giveaway for this week.
We do. It is String Theory yarn.
Yes.
Let me go ahead. We have 357 entries. It's gorgeous.
It's for this blue stocking in the Firecracker colorway. It is an 80% BFL, 20% nylon blend. Let me pull up the random number generator. And it was between numbers 2 and what? 300 and something?
56.
356?
Yeah. Oh, 357.
357.
Why do we have 356 voices but 357 posts?
Somebody might have deleted their post. Click at the top where it says like the number of voices and it'll show who had 2 posts.
Ah ha ha. What happened there? Yeah, she deleted one.
So we're good. So String Theory, again, blue stocking. She sent us this to review. I haven't knit mine yet because it's one of those like I want to save it, but I really need to knit it because I like BFL blends. So, all right.
You should do the Kirsten and Kapoor's Through the Loops mystery shawl with me and you could use that as one of your colors.
You're not the boss of me. I haven't put in the push the button yet, but I'll push the button. Generate. The number is 90, which should be on the 4th page.
Why are my math skills so bad that I always think that's on the 3rd page? 90. Bye bites. Oh, that's a cute little ladybug. Says, oh wow, gorgeous. The marmalade colorway really appeals to me. I love the tonal colors especially.
Well, marmalade That's not her name. What was her name?
Bye Bites.
Bye Bites. Marmalade made me hungry, and then I'm like, ooh, Michael's making me dinner. Ooh, what?
Marmalade. Canada.
Cool. So.
B-Bits. B-Bits is how you say it. Look, she has a pronunciation guide. It's like she knew I was going to click on her.
That's pretty good. So PM me on Ravelry, you don't call me less, and send me your address, and I'll get this sent out sometime this week if I get your address in a timely fashion. I think you'll like it a lot. It smells nice.
What else do we have to talk about? Maryland Sheep and Wool.
Yes. Well, let's do all of the other stuff before Maryland, so if anybody doesn't want to hear about our ridiculous success, they can skip it.
Cool. We have some events that we are going to in the future. I will be at Vicksburg with Knit Whiskers and Eloise and Gail. We're going down. They're my entourage.
Knit Whiskers, Dingle Daisy, and
Grey Golfer.
Grey Golfer. I was going to say Gail R, but I didn't think that was right.
So we are all taking my car down, and I am teaching 3 classes. I am teaching a toe-up socks class. I am teaching the shawls with attached borders class, and I am teaching a class on Friday, my yarn class. So like how yarn structure as well as fiber content affects your finished objects. So that's super fun. And then I will be teaching at the Loopy U because we are going to Estes.
Yes, in June.
So in June, I will be at the Loopy U teaching Alice Elizabeth and attach jeans for shawls, which is going to be super fun, and I'm going to spend all the money that I make there.
Yeah.
She should just pay me in a gift certificate. And Camp Loopy is coming up, and I totally bought my yarn for Camp Loopy, but we'll talk about that another time. I wasn't going to do Camp Loopy this year, and so Camp Loopy is an event run by the Loopy. Now I'm on a tangent. Camp Loopy is an event run by the Loopy U. And it's like a summer camp, but it's virtual. And she gives you assigned projects. And this is going to be my 4th year doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the first project is always a 400-yard project. And this year it is a safari theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something that you would see on safari. And I like it could be inspired by, so okay. Color. So there was still Volmaiza in the shop. And I was like, I can get Volmaiza for 15% off? What?
Cool.
So I got a skein of the
blend?
Yeah, the blend in a gorgeous red that I'm going to use for Loopy socks. Because I'm going to see Loopy while I'm on safari. I'm always getting around stuff. So I'll see Loopy, and he's got red socks.
He does.
So that will be awesome. So I don't know what I'm going to knit yet. A shawl of some kind, probably with an attached edging, because I'm obsessed right now. Obsessed. And the blend is a sport weight
with cashmere and merino.
So I'm excited for that. And then we'll be at Estes buying all the fleeces because we might have a problem.
But we have to fly back, so there's that.
And nestle our suitcases. That's what I managed to fit. So for Maryland Sheep and Wool, I have my big suitcase in Southwest that lets you do 2 bags for free. And then I had my carry-on, and I put all the stuff that was not fleece in the carry-on because I gave Leslie a bunch of stuff, and I had lots of room in my suitcase. I'll have less room because we're staying in Colorado a little bit longer than a weekend. So whatever, it'll work out. But I managed to split while Leslie was sleeping one morning.
Yep.
2 fleeces and managed to fit around 7 pounds of fiber in one of the suitcases.
Yeah.
The large suitcase.
I think it was just the BFL that you didn't split.
No, I split the BFL. I didn't split the Coopworth.
Oh, okay.
Which I need to get Michael to mail me.
I have to split it first.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, there's that. Also, we know somebody who is graduating.
Yes.
From
she's getting her master's.
Master's, thank you. I was going to say PhD, but I'm like, I don't think there is a PhD for what she's doing.
Well, there's a PhD in education for curriculum, but yeah, not for art education.
Right.
Probably not. So my sister is getting her master's this week. She had to do a dissertation, and she defended it.
Mm-hmm.
And very little things needed to be changed, which was super cool. And so she will be walking on Thursday. So congratulations, Beck. She's the first one of us to get her master's, because I don't have my master's because I'm lazy.
Beck is lemon half on Ravelry, and she's also a mod on our group. So,
and her dissertation was really interesting. It was about financial aid for art students, and like financial aid literacy for art students in particular.
How they understand it.
Yes, basically, like taking out $200,000 in loans to get a degree in art is not sometimes the best choice. And, you know, like how much the average art major earns versus how much they, you know, all these studies and stuff. It was interesting because she was telling me one of the huge financial literacy, like, things that they look at is whether or not you smoke, because people who smoke, I know, this is interesting, like financial institutions use this to justify if you're a good loan person or not, because people who smoke, they think, don't have a better understanding of the future, and
that's quite a leap.
The future, because you're smoking, and smoking, you know, has been proven to cause cancer. But
I just can't.
It's interesting.
I think I smoked for like a week when I was a teenager, but you can't even afford the packs of cigarettes now are ridiculous. They're like $8 a pack. Yeah,
and that's part of it too, but like the correlation between the two, I thought that was really interesting. I don't know that it's true, but it's one of the indicators that they use. So, interesting. I don't know.
Also, before we talk about Maryland, I wanted to say that the Bags by Awesome Granny, she sent us each a bag, and I got one that I'm going to give away because I have so many bags that it's sort of like criminal for me to keep them all. And I would rather somebody else get the love, you know? And she makes great bags, and they're huge. So
she does a large size and a medium size. So this is the large size right here. And then the medium, because I'm keeping them up. The medium size.
Yeah.
Is that one.
This is the medium size.
She just started doing, oh, that one's so cute. I want that bag. Why did you not giving that bag to me?
This is foxes. They're like hipster foxes. And
I love that.
It's got bow ties on the inside.
Oh, she's so clever.
She is. It's a great bag. And it's a flat bottom bag. And it comes with a zipper pull as well.
Yeah. And her bags are super well made. They stand up to me beating the crap out of them as I take them from place to place.
They are really great bags. So we'll do a giveaway and just link her shop, and you just tell us which fabric or style you like the best.
There you go.
And this has also got the little ring on the end as well.
My kids totally dressed like my boys looked like those hipster foxes.
Really?
Hats last night.
Oh, they were the little dance that you.
The 8th grade formal.
Yeah. So that's great. That's wonderful. So we'll put a thread up for the bag, and then we'll draw for that next week. So Maryland Sheep and Wool, if you don't want to see a lot of stuff that we bought, don't blame you, and we'll see you next week. And we'll never know that you didn't watch, so.
There you go. It was so much fun. We rode in 2 separate cars because we had so many people. It was us and 1, 2, 3, 4 of our friends.
Lynn M, Show Me Your Knits, Jane B, and Eat My Oxygen.
Oh, yep. And it is always a good crew, and we always have such a fun time with them. And there's lots of good food that gets eaten. Leslie had to pick me up at the airport Friday night because everyone else had started pre-gaming a little bit early.
We overestimated how many margaritas we could get out of a pitcher. Or underestimated maybe. So yeah, I went and picked Laura up, and everybody else headed back, and so we got back, I don't know, 9:30, something like that, and sat and chatted,
and then we got up super early Saturday because Lynn and Jessica had a plan to get a Jenny the Potter mug.
Which didn't happen.
That they failed at. They were the last people, like the first people in line who did not have the opportunity to buy one. So they waited in a long line and did not get one. Yeah. But it was hilarious because as we're walking in, a lovely woman stopped to talk to us, and we love talking to people. But Jessica was super impatient because she had to go get her Jenny the Potter mug.
We hadn't even gotten out of the parking lot. We
were
still in the parking lot
down, and She goes, I don't have time for your paparazzi. I've got to go get a mug.
Just left.
She was gone. And we went down to Hobbledehoy and Marigold Jen, and we got. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, I don't care, but I'll show everything I got in that booth all at once, even though I went back twice and got stuff each time.
I got the first thing I picked up were the Owl Emporium little batlings, because hello, I am such a Harry Potter fan. It is ridiculous. And they are 4 ounces of Polworth, Tessa Silk, Soy Silk, and Sparkle. So that was the very first thing that I picked up. And then I got Mythology batlings, because hello, if I'm a Harry Potter geek, I'm also a Percy Jackson geek. Like, they name things so well. So this is a little pack of 2 ounces. And this is merino wool, milk, silk, bamboo, navy sparkle. So those are the first 2 things that I got. And then the rest is Marigold Jen. I got, the very first thing that I picked up was this, because it's purple and it's pretty. And it's Snosberry colorway, which is Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory reference. And this is her merino nylon blend, which is 463 yards, and it's soft and squishy, and it needs to be cast on right away. And then, to go with that, because she had these heels and toes in her merino nylon, and they were like 2 for $18. So, man, they're blasting out the camera. It's a really bright blue and a really bright green, and I wanted to use them for heels and toes.
That'd be fun. Yeah, they coordinate.
Yeah. And they coordinate with this, too, but they're 230 yards, so I can get quite a few heels and toes out of these. They're basically half skeins. And then last thing from there. Leslie had this in her hand, and I snatched it out, because also I'm a huge steampunk fan. This is Zeppelin. Seriously, the names, they get me.
I know! Marigold Jen is too good with names.
So's Hobbledehoy. And I just love the colors, too. So this is her DK weight. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but it's going to be something for me. And it is 250 yards of a merino superwash. And we also saw Hey Hey Lady when we were down there.
Yeah, her and her daughter.
They were so sweet. So we got to see them as well. And that's all that I got from that booth. So what did you get, my dear?
I got this braid of hibiscus. It's the colorway name. It is a merino wool silk bamboo blend. That's from Hobbledehoy. And it's beautiful and shiny, and it makes me happy. And then I got several skeins from Marigold Jen. She had these little, the solids were out, and they were for a discounted price, like $20 versus $25 or something. So I got 2 of those. This is peanut butter fudge.
It's worsted, right?
These are worsted. They're 100% merino, not superwash, 218 yards. This is lighter than it's showing up on the camera. It's peanut butter fudge. It's more of a honeyish color. And then this is twilight. And it's purple. It's very difficult to see.
Very, very dark purple.
Yeah. A little bit better there. And they're just, I've knit with Marigold Jen's DK weight, or worsted weight before. I really like it. So there were these 2. And then there was this one, which is fairy dust. And I like the colors of this a lot.
That. That's really pretty.
Yes.
Is that worsted too?
This one is, yes, exactly the same. 100% merino wool, worsted weight.
I should have snatched that out of your hands.
And then the last one that I got was Neptune. This is a sock weight yarn, 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina.
That's pretty too.
Isn't it? And she had lots of Game of Thrones themed colorways, like King's Landing and all that. But they weren't in like a base that I really would have used, so because that was when I went back the second time, and in her booth, you know, a lot of people had hit it. So, but I love everything that I got, especially this one. This one's so pretty, and it could be masculine too. Like there's not too many overtly feminine colors. So
yeah, definitely the sparkle might.
I just love the smell of wool. There's something wrong with me.
I like the smell of raw wool.
Yes.
Like, oh man. Anyway.
So that's it from there.
So from there, we went up to the fleece barn. And
yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We saw a bunch of people online there, and it's kind of like one of those places where, you should not be taking strollers. I'm just gonna be rude and say that.
There's just not enough space.
There's no space, and it's real narrow, and so there's fleeces on this side on the table and fleeces on that side, and they're organized like by color and also by
fineness, like micronish sort of count. But it's so tightly packed that two people couldn't walk and pass each other. Like,
so once you
have to turn sideways to pass.
And once you throw a stroller into that mix, it was
difficult.
And people carrying big bags of fleeces too. I mean,
we were those people too, but it's a lot of like maneuvering.
Yeah,
you gotta really want fleece,
and it's a lot of like subtle butt touching. Like, so we first walked in and we knew we wanted colored fleeces because we're those people.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy the really fine, pristine white ones. I just prefer a little bit of color to it.
So, and we kind of went in with the game plan that we did not want super fine fleeces, although Leslie broke that game plan.
Not really. Well, the only fine fleece I have is a cross.
Merino Cordell.
It's a cross.
So the first thing we found was the Coopworth, which Leslie found, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So we got a 7-pound gray Coopworth. Everything's gray. I love it. My little heart is like, and then I knew that I really wanted to find a BFL, and we looked at a California red that was not in good condition.
Yeah, we really wanted that California red, but it just was not a good. We're thinking we can probably get one of those at Estes.
Maybe. Or we could probably ask Jasmine if they have any at the Red Slough Winery.
Oh yeah, the Oregon Flock and Fiber one.
No, it's that winery that they go to in June.
Black Sheep.
Are they going to Black Sheep?
I think that's what it is. I think Black Sheep is at. Is it not? Oh.
No. It's in California and is local to them, and Black Sheep's in Oregon, I think. Totally making things up. Those West Coast folk. Anyway. Estes will be our furthest west event that we've ever done. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't even know where I was going. We got the Coopworth, and we're looking at the red, and it was not up to our standard because we have such pristine standards.
Well, just that it be in fair quality.
And then Leslie found her Merino Cordell cross, which is really a fine wool. And
I was just really intrigued by the color because it was like tri-colored.
Yes, it's really pretty. No, I can't wait to wash it. I'm not like, what happens is Leslie and I agree on one fleece, and then we each get one that we're like kind of in love with, and that's why we get 3 because we have to like.
Well, plus I really want to be able to sample different kinds and see what sort of things work for me.
And I wanted a blue face luster.
You
like
really
that.
I
wanted a blue face luster, and we looked at some that were terrible.
But then we found a pretty good one.
But then we found like I'm hoping it's good. It was the one regardless, so, and it's gray, so how could you go wrong? Blue face lusters don't usually come in gray, I guess. I guess they're bred for, which is the wool standard. Most wool is bred to be white because it takes dye different, better. Yeah. I think there's a resurgence of blue face lusters coming back in grays, though, because people like the swirl.
The humbug.
Yes, so I think that's increased that population a little bit. So we got those 3 fleeces, and then we had to go to the car because we had 3 fleeces.
And they're heavy. They're a lot heavier than you think they are.
They're each 7 pounds, the ones that we got. And we saw some gorgeous $50 a pound merino, and there's always gorgeous fleeces there. It's just all in what you want to spend, too. Ours all ranged between $10 to $20 a pound.
I feel like until I know for sure exactly what I want to do with the fleece, everything's experimentation. And I'm willing to spend a certain amount, but $50 a pound is too much for me at this point. Like, especially
when you're losing half of it.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. And then, and only one was coated. The Merino Cordell cross, because it's a fine fleece, and fine fleeces get coated. Was coated. The other 2 are not, but they didn't look too bad. So that was our fleeces, and we went back to the car, and we ran into Ooh Fancy Pants, and when we were, we also ran into Space Junk, and the lady whose husband does the colored pencil whirl spindles.
Erin
she
makes
was
stuff.
there. Yes. She's the one with the umbrella.
And Vintage Rose was there.
Vintage Rose. We ran into them as well.
Mhm.
And then on our way to the car, we ran into Gwen.
Yes, Gwen GS1998.
And Ooh Fancy Pants. Who's so
Jamie
cute.
Tishon. Jamie Pearl is her name. And Happy to Run, Michelle.
Yes. And there was someone else.
And there was someone else. My memory is so terrible that I cannot remember now.
I can picture her face too. And not, yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, we ran into lots of wonderful people.
Yes. And then we went out to the car and then we came back in and bought artichokes because they are delicious.
Priorities.
Yes. Well, because it was like 11:30 at that point. No, it was before then because we didn't want to go to artichokes after 11 because we were afraid the line would be super long, which it was. And then we went to Gail's Art, right?
Well, we stopped by Gail's several times because we like her.
Wonderful. And did you get a sock blanket from Gail?
I did not get one from Gail.
Okay.
Because I knew that I wanted a sparkle one, and Gail doesn't really do sparkle.
No, but she'll be at SSK and she can her. That's why I didn't get something from her or Nadine Color because I'll see them in 2 months.
Yeah.
When I have a car to fill stuff. So we saw Gail. We went to Into the World.
Oh yes, several times.
And so the first time I went to Into the World, I got Bits and Bobs. The odds and ends.
Yeah.
Which are so cute. And Chris and James are the sweetest people ever. I'm in their fiber club, and it's like cold dead hands give it up because their prep is amazing, and they're just so sweet. And it's sad. I'm like, oh look, there's a little bit of Abercrombie right there. Like I know their colorway is by, and there's the Starry Starry Night one right there. So yeah, this is just cute little bits and bobs. It's just little bits. And then I'll probably, because they're so small, I'll probably just spin them and just go from one to another and then chain ply the whole thing.
Yeah, it'll be like a fun monster scheme.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So that was what I got the first time through. And I'm running out of space to put things that I've talked about. And then while we're on Into the World, I went back later and I got As You Wish.
Same thing.
And everyone we were with but Emo got this, so we could all spin it and see how it comes out differently. So
because Emo doesn't spin, so.
Yes. That's why. And then I also got Ramble on Falkland. And I met a lovely gentleman who had just gotten her first wheel ever. He got a Hanson mini spinner, and I was helping him find fiber. So he got some awesome fiber, too, and he's super sweet. So that is what I got from Chris and James, who are amazing. I love them so much.
I got something else, a Merino Yak Silk Blend, but I must have left it upstairs. I don't have it down here, so.
That's delicious sounding.
It was really... James, actually, I said, I need something, but I don't know what. Sell me on something. And he's like, come over here, young one.
He's so sweet.
He is. He's a great salesman for their company.
And then we went to Loop and saw Steph. She's doing shorter repeat bats now. They're bumps, really. They're not bats.
Yeah.
And so there were like 4 that I really, really wanted. But I got this one. It's Sunken Treasure. It is 4.6 ounces of a Merino Angelina blend. So it's so pretty. So that's going on my wheel really soon. I love it. I need to do more loop bumps because I have a bunch. Because I was in her club and I just love them all. I need to make time to spin them.
I think I'm down to 4 of hers now.
Wow.
But I didn't go crazy. I was in her club and I think I bought 3 others.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So.
And then, I went and saw Clover Hill. And got 2 of their in-house dyed.
The Tempting You?
Yes, this one's Halloween Wedding. Love it.
I think I got that for Sadie somewhere, and then I never sent it to her. I'm a terrible person.
And they both have sparkles. And then this one is Stardust.
Ooh, that one's nice.
I need to knit these up quickly, because I kind of love them so much. These are going to become Laura Neal socks. Pretty sure that's going to happen. And then that's it until Sunday. Did you get anything else on
I don't
Saturday?
remember what day I got anything. I have a couple more things, but you can finish your stuff first.
Okay, and then the only thing that I bought on Sunday was I got some Miss Babs because the line had gone down, and she had one skein of the Maryland colorway left in the Tarte Tarte base, and it's her superwash merino nylon tencel, and it's 500 yards, and I really want to do a hitchhiker out of it. I got one that has a lot less. Like, that's the only place where it's got orange.
Yeah, the skeins varied a lot, which is what you should expect
I
from
love
hand
it.
painted. So some had more or less of another color. So
Yeah, so I don't like orange, so I picked out one with very little, and it just happened to be on my favorite base. So I was like, yay! And I got to talk to Babs and Jen, and they're wonderful people.
And Babs is actually coming herself to SSK this year.
Yes, Jen's gonna take
So
this
fancy.
summer off. So I'm excited.
Yes.
Not that Jen's taking the. I'm excited for Jen that she's taking
Right.
the summer off.
But we're
But
also
I'm
excited that Babs will be able to come herself. So
Yeah,
so that'll be because she is all kinds of crazy fun.
she's lots of fun.
I got a couple of other things. I don't remember what day I got anything, but I got from Ross Farm. They have little bits of tons of different kinds of sheep, which is great. I'm all about trying different stuff. So I think this is just 2 ounces.
I think I'm gonna buy another fleece from them.
And this is Tunis. I've never spun Tunis, so I wanted to get a little bit and just try it. So that'll be one that I give. And they're really reasonably priced. I think it was like $7 or something. It's very reasonable.
Oh yeah.
I also got a 16-ounce thing of Power Scour for fleece washing, which is almost entirely gone already.
She's bringing us gallon jugs to SSK.
Yes, if you process fleece and you want a gallon jug of the or whatever
Or any of the
Power Scour, you should let us know. We'll let Amy know, and that way she'll be prepared. Also, I got, let's see. Well, Laura had done a chicken boots order for us, so she brought this for me. This is the pouch that I ordered. It's the Notions pouch, and it's got a clear front, which is really nice.
I love mine.
Yeah, so I got that. And then Laura and I also placed an order for 2 sisters.
No, we didn't place an order. They sent that to us.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we placed an order. So
I did place an order.
Laura placed an order
afterwards because I was like, I'm getting on this bandwagon before anyone else.
So they're a relatively new company, Two Sisters Yarn Company.
I think that's what I'm going to cast on this
And
week.
I really love this colorway. It's called Gothic Rainbow. And it's 8 stripe. And it's a merino cashmere nylon blend. And it's twosistersyarncompany.com. And it's so pretty. I love it.
So pretty. I am going to cast on one of their skeins next, I think.
And the only other thing that I bought, which I bought because Amy Beth has used their yarn several times and really praises it highly. So I thought I would try it. And it's Green Mountain Spinnery. I got 2 different kinds. I got Cotton Comfort, which is not flying off. A 2-ply DK weight, which is 20% cotton, 20% wool. It's all U.S. and it's a worker-owned cooperative.
And she explained to us how that works.
Yeah, like once you're there for a certain amount of time, you have the option of like buying into the company, which is really cool. And it's all wool and spun yarn, so it's even though it's 4 ounces, it feels like nothing. It's very lofty, sort of like Shelter. It's wool and spun. So
nose is itching.
This is in the Juniper colorway.
So pretty.
And this one is the Sandman colorway, and it's a DK weight, but this one is just wool. It has no cotton in it.
And you got these to try to see if you wanted to buy a sweater quantity to bake,
because I feel like a sweater quantity out of a woolen spun yarn is going to feel lighter than a worsted spun yarn. Like the one I really, really love, my Pumpkin Ale, which is out of Volmiza DK, which is a worsted yarn, but it's heavy.
Yes.
Part of that's because I'm a big person. It's a lot of yarn, but it's also heavy. So I would like to have a sweater out of a lighter yarn. So I wanted to try these and just see, I can knit a hat or something small out of them and see how I like the hand and try that out. So now I really want to cast them on right now, but I won't.
You'll be set for Stash Dash.
I think that's it, though. Do we have anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Is an hour and a half long enough?
I don't know that it is. I should probably delete my part of the show notes that says Leslie is not the boss of me.
When we do show notes, we use Google Docs, so I can see when Laura's editing and she can see when I'm editing. And we were
We're editing the same portion at the same time.
Kept deleting the same thing at the same time because we're 12 and things are funny.
But Leslie will put on the show notes like, get on Skype now.
Because she won't answer her phone and she's not. I'm like, I thought you wanted to record. It would be so nice if we still lived in the same state, but
it would be. You should move back down here.
I'll make that happen.
Make Michael make that happen.
So that's it for this week. Everyone have a happy Mother's Day. Go check out our information on Ravelry about the Spin Along Knit Along with Three Waters Farm. And if you're interested, then you can place a pre-order anytime between now and the end of the month.
If you have any Stash Dash questions, ask me, don't ask Leslie.
Yes.
She's the Empress of Stash
I'm
Dash.
not the Empress. Plus, if you have a question, probably 5 other people want to know the same thing. So definitely. Laura will answer them on the show. And
I create my own arbitrary rules.
Yeah. You are the Empress, so...
I try to keep the rules, like... I try, actually, if I had my way, there would be no rules, but then it would be chaos. Loki-like chaos. So...
Well, y'all have a wonderful week, and we will see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.